Probably going to ask you
to continue.
Okay. Hey, this is Leslie. And we are here with Suzanne. We're super excited. We're talking about camp. We're talking about Suzanne and her creative process and what she's going to be teaching at camp. We're super excited. We have our JOYfilled Arts and Crafts Virtual Summer Camp coming up July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. So we're just super excited about it. And we're so happy to have Suzanne here with us today. Suzanne has been with us for kind of the start of our adventure. Back in November, we did our artist market, which was our first one. And then we did a second one in April, and Suzanne was a part of both, and now camp, and now she's just part of the family, and we're just gonna keep creating together and coming up with new fun things. So anyhow, Suzanne, thanks for being here, and we'll send it over to you so you can tell us about you and your art and your creative process and what you're going to be teaching at camp and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. My creative process, it is very eclectic. I like to include all kinds of things. I kind of feel like different mediums give me a different voice. So if I'm using acrylic paint, I can say things with acrylic paint that maybe I couldn't say with my art papers or pastels or ink. So I feel like they're all different, almost like notes in a song. So it helps me express myself by using these different mediums. And yeah, so I love discovering new things, and I love to art play. It's how I kind of have created different processes just by playing. No rules, just get in there, make a mess with art supplies. You don't want to see the aftermath. It's quite a disaster, but you clean it up afterwards. But it's a lot of fun, and it brings me a lot of joy. And that's kind of what my art is based in, is bringing joy to others. I really want the fun process that I had when I was in the zone and feeling joyful to pass on to other people. And when they see my artwork. And also, I teach classes. So when I teach, I want them to feel that while they're making too, not the stress. A lot of people get stressed. I'm not doing it right. There is no right. Just do, just make it. There's no right or wrong. And it's just a really fun and wonderful thing in my life that I enjoy sharing with others. And for the upcoming summer camp, I have Tutti Frutti paint over collage. So I had mentioned art papers, and I have, I think about 63 pounds of paper. Yeah, I have too much paper. Anyway.
Too much paper. Is that possible?
I don't know. I mean, I sit here and I've got paper here, and I've got paper in another box. I got paper in a bin. I got paper under. I have a day bed. I have paper under the day bed. There's lots of paper. So you
could use really any kind of paper, is what you're saying.
You can. I typically use lighter weight papers. They grab the glue a little better, and sometimes they'll absorb the paint. So it kind of gives you a little bit more play, so you can intensify the color or not. But when you use thicker, like glossy paper, it doesn't really work. So anyway, so here is my peach. So you can see the pieces of paper in there, and I can post. This actually is a skeleton leaf because like I said, everything gives me a different voice. I gotta find something, pick it up off the floor and go, oh, I dropped that. That's fabulous. I'm gonna stick it on my thing.
Oh my gosh.
And then I have a couple extra little ideas because I don't want everybody to have to do the same thing. And if you're like, I'm not painting a peach, no thank you, paint a pear. We'll do pears. So, and I've got a lemon here. These all started off as collages, and then we use that different patterns and textures underneath to paint over. Whereas if we just use acrylic paint, we would have to do several layers to get the interest that the paper underneath gives. So, and here we're working.
It almost has a 3D look.
I'm sorry?
It almost has a 3D look to it.
Yeah, it gives it some nice depth and interest, like the lines in here. You can see that paper underneath. So yeah, this is a fun and very rewarding class. So I hope that you'll take it, and you can come explore with me the fun of acrylic paint and paper and lots of glue. You know, I use gel gloss, and I have been asked if I have some sort of terrible hand condition because I have glue stuck all over my hands all the time. People are like, you know, do you use lotion? And I do, but it's glue. So if you were one of those kids who like to peel glue off your hands, you're gonna love this class.
That sounds super fun. And that's one thing that, you know, about camp that we're so looking forward to. And we've been talking about this today. You know, it's like so excited to take everybody's workshops. You know, probably during camp, we're going to be, well, probably busy doing other things, you know, aside from teaching our own classes and, you know, popping in to make sure logistically things are running smoothly. But that's the thing I think is so awesome, is that, you know, everyone's going to have the opportunity to get the replays after camp. So they'll get to take all 30 workshops. You get, you know, you get 9 live workshops to choose from over the 3 days. And so we're just really excited about that, and all the different options and ways to play and create, and the different processes. And I love that, you know, what you're saying, it can be kind of for any level, for anyone, you know, that idea of just getting in there and playing, not to be intimidated. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. It's what makes you, you know, makes you feel good.
Yeah. Actually, I wrote down 5 tips to help you in your artistic process, you know, to bring more art in your life and to experience art in a positive way. Because a lot of people get intimidated. You know, oh, I went to a museum once, I couldn't touch anything and it seems kind of scary. No, you know, if you want to get better at art, first of all, take lots of pictures. Take pictures of everything that you find interesting. You might say to your friend, oh my gosh, I love that shadow. And they'll look at you like you're nuts. But you take a picture of that shadow because you might need to use that in your artistic process, or a unique color combination, or a rock that has an interesting pattern on it. So yeah, I mean, so take pictures and sketch a lot. It could be 5 minutes. It could be the worst thing ever. Nobody could ever recognize it. And it was supposed to be a dog. Who cares? I have a friend who she teaches voice. And she said that the hardest thing to teach somebody is a song they already know. And that's what happens in art, is that you think you know what an eye looks like. So you draw it and you're like, ew, what is that? And but when you really look deeply, you actually see what, you know, the shadows and the creases and the, you know, tear duct. And that's what sketching will help you with, is really seeing what that object is and what it truly looks like. And let's see, embrace the fact that art is subjective. So say you make this pear and it doesn't look anything like this, and people are like, is that a, you know, anime character, or, you know, like one of those like little cartoon characters? And you're like, you know, I'm terrible at art. No. I have been to art fairs where I have walked past people's booths and I've gone, oh, that poor artist. That's so sad. I wouldn't put that by my cat box. And I come back later and that art is sold. So if you ask a friend about your art and they're like, oh, that's terrible, go ask someone else, because art is subjective. Somebody is going to love what you do. And it I have done that. I've asked my husband, oh, honey, what do you think of this? And he's like, ugh. And, and I kind of like, oh, but then I show other people and they're like, oh, that's great. That's wonderful. So don't let someone rain on your parade. And the other is to play with color. And that's kind of what we're doing here. We're doing like a complementary color palette to help make the colors pop. But people are like, oh, I don't know color theory. So what? Get your paints out, make some mud. You'll learn. And it's fine. It's fine to, muddy colors are great for shadows. And you learn that too. So just get out and play with your colors and see what they look like. Don't be afraid. There's nobody, going to tell you it's right or wrong. Just get in there and play. And this is the most important thing. And this has to do with the summer camp we've got coming up is explore new techniques and take classes on different mediums, because when you do that, you're going to find what matches for you and your personality and what you like and what really sparks that joy in your soul. The more you take these different classes, you can say, oh, pastels, not for me. And that happened to me. I started with some the chalk pastels. I was completely covered in chalk pastel. And I went to the bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I'm like, oh no, because I was doing that and then touching my face and then, doing this and, moves hair out of my face. It was terrible. And it's everywhere you get up when you tilt it, it's in your lap. It wasn't for me. But, I did oil pastels. Oil pastels I really like, and I use those in my art today. So, you keep playing with those different mediums, different techniques, different ways to use things, and you find that sweet spot that really is the niche that brings you joy, makes you happy, brings you joy. So.
Oh, I love that. What great tips too. And, it sounds, it all kind of comes back to, I like that it's not about something being right or wrong. It's really about just jumping in and doing it. And, that's part of the reason for camp is to be able to share a wide variety of different techniques, different mediums, with people of all skill levels, because sometimes there is that, people feel intimidated or just uncertain of how to start. Or even if you are an artist that's, maybe it's like your career or your profession, or you've just been somebody that's been painting, and doing art for 30 years, you can always learn something. There's always something that you're going to pick up from someone else. They're going to do it a different way than you do. And it's really a great opportunity to learn some new skills. But just really, I love that how you come at it as just a way of let's just play. I mean, that's what it is about. That's like that, childlike joy of just getting your hands dirty. As like a kid, I remember I loved finger paints, just like getting in there and doing it, even if you're not sure, what's going to happen. A lot of the times it's the process, it's the process of creating that is really the best part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I find myself in the zone when I'm painting. That's my happy place. That's where everything else falls away and I can just be with myself and my creative process. And that wasn't the way it all started. I mean, anytime I try to work with a new medium, there's a learning curve. There's a time where I'm like, oh, this is just you were talking about sorry, I got a dog that's coughing. When you were talking about gel gloss paints and glass, when I first started that technique, because I was doing ornaments that way, it was sliding off the glass all the time. For my first 6, I think I used every swear word there was, just out of frustration. But you get better, you keep at it and you keep doing it. You find little tricks that work, and then it stops being something that you want to learn, and it's something you've already got, something that you have and you've developed, and you learn to love and add to it. I'm constantly looking for new mediums to add to my artwork. Just because it's fun. It's fun to keep exploring. I'm not somebody who likes to be stuck in a box. Someone once asked me, I was doing portraits, and they said, "Oh, so you do portraits now? You just do portraits?" I'm like, no, I don't. I do whatever I want. you know?
I do it all.
I just like to have fun and explore and try new things, and I don't want to be stuck in a box. So,
Well, and you really do work with a lot of different materials when you're creating. I just like, when you were showing like the peach, some of the different things, like all the layering of different papers and little skeleton leaf, and then you've got the paints, and it's just kind of all the things and how they build on each other. And that, I like the idea that those are things that you're throwing out there and making it sound accessible for people to just try. Like, hey, just go try this, you'll get the hang of it. But yeah, just sort of jumping in and going for it and playing. I like that.
Exactly. And like I said, if you end up doing this lemon and it ends up looking like some sort of cartoon, maybe that's your thing. Maybe you're like, hey, I don't do fruit well, but I really do enjoy making little cartoon characters. Do it, because sometimes accidents are happy accidents. They turn into your joy. So, just
Awesome.
have fun and explore.
I love that. Well, tell us a little bit about you. Like, how did you start? When did you start creating? Is there something that kind of triggered that for you, or you just kind of one day picked something up and started layering things? And
well, my mom was an oil painter, and so I might be slightly brain damaged from all the exposure to chemicals as a child. She would let me paint with oil paints, and even with my hands and stuff. And I began there, and it just it was something I was always drawn to. Anytime there was a chance to take an art class, I wanted to do that. But when art got more formal for me, I didn't like that, because then I felt like I was being stuck in a box saying you can only this and this is the right way. And I'm like, no, I'll do it my way. And so I started taking classes from artists that I really enjoyed their process. I enjoyed watching their process. I enjoyed their color work. I enjoyed I decided I would learn from them individually. And that's what I started to do. And it just grew and grew. When my kids were little, I made it a point to take art classes, because that was my way of nurturing myself. And I got into something called China painting. I took classes just with a local artist, and it's a very old art form, and you have to learn, there's like metals in the paints and, all sorts of stuff, and that you can't mix those paints. You have to, apply them and fire it, and then apply it and fire it like 8, 20, whatever times to get the depth of color. And but I really enjoyed learning that process, and that process overlaps to watercolors, where you layer and you layer to get that depth of color. So, you learn one thing and it'll translate into another. And then through who you are, for me, it translates into me creating different ways of making stuff. I have a process where I start off with watercolors. I do clear gesso over it. And then I take colored pencils and I go in over the top, because the clear gesso grabs the colored pencil like it's a pastel, except for I don't end up with it all over myself. So, I really enjoy just coming up with new ways to use the mediums. So.
Oh, that's so fun. I really like that. And what a cool idea. Now I just feel like I just want to go play. Like, after listening to you, I'm like, I just want to go put a bunch of stuff together and start making something.
Yes, yeah.
So, and what about where can we find you? I mean, we know where to find you, but where can other people find you that are watching?
I'm on Facebook. It's Suzanne it's Suzanne Hallett Art and Creations on Facebook. That's my business page. Most people just end up following my individual page, which is just Suzanne Hallett. And on Instagram, it's also just Suzanne Hallett. So it's pretty straightforward. I know I can never remember things, when they get too long, or I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, near cat 783. I'm like, was that a 7 or a 6 or I don't know, so it's just straightforward. It's just my name.
Yeah. No, well, hey, that works, right?
Yes.
So what else do we have? Do you have any
Well,
thoughts?
I also exhibit at a gallery in Glencoe, Illinois. It's called AIR Studio, and it stands for Artist in Residence. And it's a wonderful organization. If you're ever in Glencoe, pop in and take a look at the art we've got up. We're having a show next month, so we're almost there, and that'll be all of the people in the collective or have their art out for people to see. But we also host other artists. So
that sounds neat.
Yeah.
Very cool. Say one more time what it's called.
AIR Studio. It's right across from the Writers Theater in Glencoe. So
I know right where that is.
Yeah. Well, if you look up Writers Theater, it's literally across the street, and that's a good landmark if you're ever in the area. So.
Gotcha. Where's Glencoe though? So
Glencoe is on Lake Michigan, and it's called the North Shore. So if you go up out of Chicago, you're going to go through Evanston and Wilmette and Winnetka, and I mean, if you stick close to the shore there, and then you'll hit Glencoe and Highland Park. So some nice neighborhoods.
We're on our lake here. We're ready for camp.
Well, I miss the ocean. You guys have at least some access to get there pretty quick. Because let me tell you, when I moved here, because I grew up in California, when I moved here and people are like, yeah, they've got lake itch. I'm like, what? Because I was used to being near the ocean. It's got salt in it. You don't get lake itch. What is that? Some sort of foot fungus that's been stuck in I don't know what that is. It just sounds gross.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. So,
but yeah, the ocean. And you guys, we were about an hour and a half away in Portland.
Yeah. About an hour and a half, to the coast from here. So
depending on where you go, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. So not too bad. And then the river, that's right here. And
also not a place you get lake itch.
Not usually. So not usually. It's like I think it's relatively clean right now. Or both. Well, there's two of them, or two main ones. But yeah. So I'm so excited to have you at camp. We both are. We're really excited for camp, and I'm just curious. Did you go to camp when you were a kid or an adult, or have any special just camp out memories or summer things that you'd like to share?
Oh yeah, I did go to camp when I was a kid, and I sent both my kids to camp too because I had a good time. I just loved being out in the in the woods, and I love the smell of the trees. I mean, that's actually, I would just literally love laying there looking up at the clouds passing through the tops of the trees. That was just one of my most favorite and peaceful, times. Singing songs around the campfire and roasting marshmallows was all very fun, but I just loved waking up every morning, taking a deep breath of nice, fresh, clean air, and and feeling immersed in nature.
I love I love that too. And this year, just still on the tail end of COVID, and things are kind of opening up, but I'm hoping next summer we can do a live one, live camp. but we feel like this is going to be like, it's like the best thing. It's going to be just like going to camp, but slightly different.
No mosquito bites.
Yeah, no mosquito bites, but the idea, like, we're really encouraging people to come, stay for all 3 days. There's going to be activities outside of the workshops, including, like, we're going to be doing campfires, and everyone's going to have their own campfire, and s'mores competitions, and we're going to have a show and tell of your creative processes at the last day of camp, and we're going to do some, like, what are we calling it? Your unique talent show. And,
that'll be fun.
yeah, so I think we're going to have some fun things, and really just, like, it's about that, creating that community, that connection, and that's part of what I feel like we've been doing over the last year with the artist market, not only, like, with yourself and the other artists, but that the community that's come to support and be part of it, and continuing that on when we had so many people that were really engaged and interested in the art and buying the art and having that ability to give back, and, like, hey, look, now you can come learn how to do this too, and you can have more of a hands-on experience within this community, and, like, keeping that connection going, because I think it's just been a really wonderful connection, and how that has continued to grow, and through that creative process, we can continue to sort of touch other people, and bring them in, and support one another. So it's, as much as it is about the creativity and the arts and the crafts, there's so much more about it as well. And it's being part of something other than, just yourself sitting in front of the computer, and just having the ability to really interact with one another. So we're super excited about it.
Yeah. And when you're creating too, when you're making art, it's really helpful to have supportive people around you, because it's real common to feel pretty, when you're brand new at it, to make something and go, ugh. I still make stuff, and I'm like, ugh. My husband, once, he came downstairs, because I like to paint in the middle of the night, because I'm, me. And so he'll come downstairs, and I've got something partially shoved in the garbage can, and he's like, what, I like it. I'm like, no, we were having a fight. I don't like that, and having because sometimes you fight with your artwork, but having that, like, supportive community around you when you're learning, especially, is so important, because they can take a look at what you did and say, maybe if you add a little color here, or what, I see that you don't like it, but I really like it. Maybe what would it take to make you like it? What do we need to tweak? What can I help you with? And just being supportive and encouraging with each other, and nurturing for people who are new is at art. It's very important, I think, to help them blossom, because if you're new at anything, you're going to suck at it for a little while, and that's okay. That's just the way we all are. And showing some of, maybe you can do that, is show some of the artist's old artwork, and I remember making stuff and going, oh man, I think I need glasses, so, but yeah, the community is so important, especially when you're learning, just to help encourage you and keep you growing.
Yeah.
So you fall in love rather than, have a fight with your artwork.
Oh, I like that. So, well, awesome. Do you have anything else you'd like to add, or, well, it was super great. Do you have anything anything else for Suzanne? Anything we're missing? So, yeah, it was super great to have you here and find out more about you and your process. We're super excited to have you at camp, and I'm excited for your classes, for your workshops. And yeah, so thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for being here at our lake.
Is it Lake Wobegon?
Yeah, he was from Oregon, right? Yeah, I don't know. This is like barrage.
Okay.
All right. Well, my dear, thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and we will be seeing you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.